Good morning. Welcome to TERRA Home. I'm here with Greg from Willowbrook Nurseries. We're down in the Niagara region today, and beautiful, nice, warm weather we're dealing with. But of course, talking about plant life and all of its various sources. And as we move through August, we begin to the fall. A lot of times people are talking about planting again, adding to their gardens, and so just making people conscious of again some of those plants that will take them through the fall and the winter and still give them some color and some life.
Yes, flowering shrubs too many people, we put too much emphasis on the color of the blooms, and we could really get a lot of interest just in the color of their foliage. It might not be four seasoned, but you know, such as a barberry or the spirea or the weigela, the color of their foliage gives you that color that you're looking for in your garden.
It does, and again, you sometimes you take it for granted until you see a garden with variances of tone and color, and it really makes such a difference because it gives it depth, right?
Yes.
So not only are you, again, of course, considering height, but also, again, just seeing, you can see such a nice difference between a light green leaf to going down to a really dark, almost like a dark sort of wine color to black. It looks great, and it gives you just so much more.
Yeah, and even with your dogwoods, this is a ivory halo dogwood. You also have yellow twig dogwoods and red twig dogwoods. So in the wintertime, you get that color interest as well.
And again, that's really important for us to think about, particularly in our climate, our region. We know it seems like winter lasts forever.
Yes,
so
sure does.
Your garden can look really, really bad if you don't consider this. And sometimes, again, if you're planting in the summer months and you're not thinking about it, you think about it once you hit the winter, and and it's look very dormant. Okay, so as we move across, let's look into this region here and what this gives us.
The evergreens are like really the stars of our garden in terms of giving us color and year-round interest.
Yes.
You can get the full gamut of colors, from blues, your yellows, even the oranges of that red gold cedar. Right. Also, although it may be green and boring, you know, yews and boxwood are kind of like the bones of our gardens. They give us that backdrop and that soft foliage. And, you know, your gardens are more than just what you see. It's what you smell and what you hear and what you feel.
It's true, exactly. And again, that's right. Especially if you have like nice breezes through it, if you want movement, if so you have to really consider all of that when you are planting. And again, it's great to see all these color variances, because moving into fall, again, you love to see some of them actually do alter and do change as you move into the fall months.
Exactly.
So that's what you want to see. Okay, so now we're starting to get into, you need to also consider not only, of course, shape and height, but also shape.
Exactly, form. Pyramidal form is a very strong form in our garden. You can see it. You can see as you look around the cedars and the spruce. Pyramidal boxwood are ones that keep their leaves. These are broadleaf evergreens, so they'll keep their leaves all year long, and you'll get that pyramidal form. This is a smaller form of a spruce. This is a dwarf Alberta spruce, and it's a slower grower, so it's something you can plant out front, and it's not going to overtake your garden, and it's going to give you that nice tight form.
And that's something to consider too. A lot of times people are planting the wrong plant, or a bush or tree, whatever it may be. They're not looking at the how quickly it's going to grow. Some of them will take a blue spruce, and that thing is going to grow and overtake your entire garden and take out a lot of the little guys that you have.
Exactly, and you invest so much time in having that blue spruce in front of your garden, and then you have to cut it down because the lots are too big.
They're so beautiful, and they're healthy, and they're wonderful, but they're really, a lot of our lots nowadays just can't take them.
No, exactly.
Right?
And there's so many new dwarf evergreens that you can use. There's so many better choices, and this is one of them right here.
Now, with something like this, what is the maintenance involved? I mean, they already have this shape, but do you have to continue to work on the shape?
You know, with a dwarf Alberta spruce, you don't even have to trim it. You can see how tight it stays. You'll see the buds come out here, and it stays very tight. Even this one beside it here, this is called a Jean's Dilly. It stays even smaller, right? This one, you know, takes years to get even to this height.
Really?
So this is just a cousin of this, and it's just a smaller form, and they're pretty well maintenance free.
Yeah, well, and that's what people love. Again, it's obviously it's that people need to consider time. People have less time nowadays to be out in their gardens, and of course, and again, the size of your lot. People have very little lots, if any at all. Some people just have patios.
Exactly.
So, are some of these conducive for keeping in pots?
Yes.
Most of them.
These you'll see in pots quite a bit. These you'll see in pots quite a bit. The pyramidal form really lends itself to putting in a pot. The only problem is that in the wintertime, you're going to have to put that in a shed or buried in the ground just to not let the roots freeze.
Okay, so that's what I was going to ask you next. So again, you have to think about, particularly again in our climate, about overwintering. You have to really consider that, because they're not going to survive in a pot. They're too exposed. So again, take them inside possibly. Okay, good to know.
I've got one. I put it in my shed. It comes out every year, no problem.
Really? So just stick it in the shed?
Yep.
Okay, all right, very good. And even something like this down here. This
Yeah.
is actually good to consider as well.
These are our broadleaf evergreens, and they're very popular. Euonymus, you've probably seen that in the white and green forms, which is the emerald gate. This is moonshadow.
Yes.
There's lots of different varieties, and this one's got great, splotches of yellow,
I love
green
that
leaves,
one.
and there's so many different forms. You get, it gives great color in the garden, great year-round interest. Yuccas,
Yep.
they come in different colors as well. This one is color guard, and of course it's yellow with the green variegation, and you can get just the plain green. But they're tropical. They look great around
They
pools.
do look very tropical, yes.
On the front of your houses.
Yes.
Great all year round interest.
And totally easy to control
Very easy.
and take care of.
Very easy.
Okay, so
Yep.
now we move down to this area, and so we're kind of getting the best of all worlds when we're looking
Yes.
at something like this.
Yes. There's two standards, and a standard is actually a stake with a shrub on a stake.
Right.
And this is what you've got here. This is a corkscrew hazel, and this is a dwarf hinoki fall cypress. This one here is actually more interesting in the winter. As you can see, the leaves really cover up its twisted branches.
Yes.
In the wintertime, this takes on a much better, more interesting form.
Okay, so because the leaves are gone.
Once the
and
leaves are gone, then you'll see all these
you're
branches,
seeing
all
what
these
this
twisted.
is doing.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
neat. It almost looks like a grapevine.
Now they also come in a shrub form too, but I just
Sure.
got the standards.
Right, exactly. And that's what's great about it now is
Yeah.
because they are, again, you're looking at how beautiful the color tones are in here. This is
Exactly.
great. And this looks so nice as you move through fall.
Yeah, oh, exactly. That's our Crimson Queen Japanese maple. Japanese maple is very popular. They come in all forms, larger, smaller, more cut leaf. This one, Crimson Queen, doesn't get very big. You could probably keep it with pruning 6 to 7 feet tall, and it's it stands right out in front of your house.
Well, that's what I
by a
mean. I
poolside.
absolutely love them. I know they can be a little finicky, particularly if you're moving them.
Yes.
We attempted to do that, and sometimes if you're not moved properly,
Yes.
they don't survive, right?
No.
So you do have to make sure. But they do actually alter color as they move through the season. So they do get from again that sort of wine color to they almost get to like a rusty red, right?
Yes.
They start to change as you move through.
That'll
the fall.
turn a really red in the fall.
Yes,
and
I
then
love that.
the green ones, well, some people don't like them. They turn a beautiful orange in the fall. I actually prefer the green ones because you
Really?
get the different change in colors.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so there you go. So again, you have to consider. So again, we're taking a look at, I love some of these, like the one way down at the end. I love it. It's just got its own character going on there.
Those two are among my favorites. A lot of the evergreens will come in a weeping form, and they're great specimen plants. That one is a weeping white pine, and the one beside it is a weeping Norway spruce. And like I say, they're accent plants, only to be planted one at a time. Look great in a rock garden, great around a pond,
Yes.
and they're meant to stand out and really showcase your garden.
Yeah, and that's it. So you have to consider. So now we're taking a look at, of course, again, where we live. We have to look at, having the shape, the color,
Yes.
and again, some texture and depth to your garden. So
Yes.
again, it is going to carry us through the winter. So you're not looking out your backyard and saying, I'm so embarrassed, I can't wait till June.
No, exactly.
So you can't. We have a long winter.
Yeah, exactly. There's so many choices in all the plants to get your color and texture that it's not, it's just not hydrangeas and flowers that you have to look at. It's the
Exactly.
whole gamut.
Thank you, Greg. Some good
Right.
information here today. And
Thank
again,
you.
thanks to everybody here at Willowbrook. We'll be back with more TERRA Home.
TERRA, where color lives.
You've sat under them and built forts in them. You've swung from them and fell out of them. You've even fallen in love under them. Trees have always held a special place in our hearts and memories. A natural beauty, trees will grow with you and your family and bring color and nature into your world. For your assurance of quality, look for trees and shrubs with the Medallion plant tag. Medallion plants, locally grown, the pride of Niagara.
Good morning, welcome back to TERRA at Home. We're here with Iain Kirkpatrick and we're at Roux Commissary and Commercial Kitchens here in Hamilton. And this is a really cool facility, so we're going to talk about exactly what this is, but we want to know what brought you to this to begin with. You obviously have the background as a chef in kitchens, but let's talk about what got you here.
Well, first and foremost, I teamed up with the Austins late last year with regards to launching one of the most popular food trucks here in Hamilton. We had taken a look at, all the shortcomings, what it was about to get a food truck onto the streets and to run it successfully. And that's where the seed was first planted.
Right.
We took a look early this year at a few different properties, and this was the one that sort of met all our criteria. This is a place where food trucks could, park, get their hydro, fill up with their water, most importantly, work out of our health and safety regulated kitchen.
Well, this is the thing. So a lot of people don't realize that. You don't really think about what the food truck has to go through and the people that run the food truck prior to. I never really thought about it. They can't do everything in that truck. They have to have a place to go to do some of their prep, right? It's difficult. So being firsthand connected, you, again, as you say, when talking about the shortcomings, but you knew what needed to be done.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. From your day-to-day, you've got to get your groceries done. You've got to talk to your many different purveyors. You've got, where you're going to set up in the streets of Hamilton.
Yeah.
You've got events and your different calendars.
A lot of moving parts, right?
A lot of moving parts.
And they can't just, as you say, they can't just pull up and show up just randomly. There are a lot of rules, right? And some cities are harder on them than others.
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely. And we have great team members. Susan, my business partner, who has traversed the river, knows all the different pitfalls and the hands to shake when it comes to City Hall and making the right connections.
Yeah.
She's definitely a great asset,
I
somebody
think
to
that's
talk
great.
to.
And so what this does is it creates a social environment as well for everybody that's coming into this kitchen. So
Most definitely.
Right.
Very, it's a gathering of like minds. for
Now,
sure.
this isn't just all about food trucks as well. Anybody can use this kitchen. So this kitchen is fully regulated and anyone can come here, even just me. I could just come here and, as we were talking earlier, we were joking, but it's true, I could come and bake like a million dozen cookies at Christmas time.
Absolutely, for sure. All the casual culinary, the chefs and cooks that want to, try out some time in the kitchen, whether they have some recipes, whether they want to do some test kitchens, getting ready for Christmas baking.
Yeah, I love
Definitely.
that. And I think that's really, it's fun for people, again, because you're coming and you are given all, let's talk a little bit about what this kitchen provides versus the average kitchen. What,
Yeah.
you have a lot going on here.
Most definitely. It's a far stretch from kitchen at home. You've got your commercial convection ovens and your regular ovens. You've got a grill. You've got a wonderful kettle, a
yes.
steamer. And the jewel of our kitchen is our dishwasher. It's about a 3-minute cycle. When you come back from
Really?
a food truck service and you're dragging your feet and there's still dishes to do, it's a 3-minute cycle and you're finished. It really,
So it's like hardcore, serious sterilization.
it looks after everything.
I love that.
For
That is
sure.
Awesome. Okay, so one thing we also wanted to mention with this kitchen, and again, it's kind of a neat aspect that we wanted to tie into our show. Our chef Rachel, who we have segments coming up after this, is going to be leaving our show after she's been here since the dawn of the show to pursue some other parts of her career. But you are actually going to be our new chef.
Yes,
TERRA.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
Yes.
so this is kind of fun. So from your perspective, obviously we're used to Chef Rachel's style and what she does. What's your style? What do you do?
Well, ultimately, I'd like to come back to the basics. Let's talk about farmhouse cooking. From pickling asparagus, getting into making your own yogurts again. Let's talk about
that's
trussing a chicken and dressing a chicken properly.
I love that.
Some 10 essential recipes that we can work from and build from. Yeah.
I'm finding a lot of people are doing that more. It's almost, people are, I think because our lives are so crazy that people really, I find that time where they can be creative in the kitchen, it's almost like that space away from the hectic part of life.
Absolutely,
right?
it's a place to retreat to.
Exactly,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And I'm not a big fan of long ingredient lists. I like the ingredients to speak for themselves. So just simple, good, wholesome food that we can put down in front of our families and all enjoy.
I love that idea, and that's the great part is again the variety that we like to provide, and then again of course having access to it on YouTube all the time for people, on our website as well, and having the recipes so people can see it and start to kind of get a feel of what you do. Right?
Very exciting.
I think
yes.
that's awesome. So we should also talk a bit about the fact that you guys are tied in. You're very much about helping out in the city. We're talking about. The kids projects that again with the growing with the kids and all that stuff locally as well, and Oliver's project and we're actually going there as well. So it's kind of it's nice that you guys have really had that nice tie-in.
Absolutely, it's putting back to the community is definitely key. We've held hands with a few different projects. Oliver's garden project, as well as camp nutrition is something near and dear to my heart. I'm looking forward to getting started with in the July month. Being able to create and to share my ideas with some of the most impoverished kids in the city. Yeah.
You know, that's a really big thing. A lot of people don't realize in in the city of Hamilton and in our surrounding areas how we forget sometimes, we get out of touch with the fact that we do have so many impoverished children. So all these projects helping, and you were talking about how valuable that is to you as a chef of teaching kids to prepare food and healthy food.
Absolutely. Well, as a chef and a father myself of 2 boys, I know the importance, what it is to put good food in your mouth. Yeah, for sure. The thing that sort of tugs at my heartstrings is some of these kids. Their last meal is on a Friday, and they have to wait till Monday to be back at school again to have the next sort of meal brought to you by school. Yeah.
I can't even imagine that. So I think that's really nice, and that's something that our city needs. And so again, something like this again is just fueling our community, having a kitchen like this. So I think it's fun. I think a lot of people watching right now say, okay, you can actually come here and have a gathering with friends and do sort of a night out, right?
From business projects to team building. We have clients that come in that did a fundraising program and had 10, 12 of her guests and came in and prepared, and they helped prepare the meal together.
So you basically just get all of your ingredients together. You bring everything in yourself.
You bring all your mise en place, you give them an idea of the menu. Each table had a card as to what they're going to be putting together, and by the end of the night we retired to the office where we ate the fruits of our labor. Yeah.
So much fun. We're all talking, we're like plotting, okay, how can we do this? How can we make this happen? This is a really great idea, and I love the idea of tying like sort of a corporate thing into it, right? Because it is, once you get in a different environment away from the office and you have everybody kind of in here and doing their thing.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So coming up in the next segment, we are going to go to Chef Rachel again, and again, this will be her last hurrah, as my producer called it, last supper. Which I love, but eventually, hopefully, you have an opportunity to meet her as well.
Look forward to it.
But I guess next up, later on this summer, we're going to have you preparing some. Are you thinking what you're going to do first?
Taking over the reins? Yeah, I've got a few good
ideas.
Not going to give away any surprises quite yet.
Okay.
But like I said, let's return to farmhouse cooking.
I love it. I'm looking forward to it. All that local fun. All right. Thank you so much, Iain.
Thank you so much.
Looking forward to seeing you at the TERRA Kitchen, and this is a fun kitchen as well. We love it here. That's it for now. We'll be back with more. Back with Chef Rachel.
TERRA, where color lives.
Heritage perennials. Look for us in the blue pots.
Good morning, welcome back to TERRA Home. We're in the kitchen today with Chef Rachel, and what are we making today?
Today we're doing a spicy shrimp quesadilla.
You love your spice, we know that.
I do.
So, and I'm learning to love it too.
I do.
All right, so these are pretty straightforward, but really great a kind of association with summer too, aren't they?
Yes, yeah. So lots of fresh ingredients. We're gonna put some mango in there too to sweeten it up a bit, and some nice colors going on for the spice. I'm using some jalapeno pepper and some chipotle pepper as well.
Oh, great.
So spicy shrimp quesadilla, we'll start off with the shrimp. I like to get just the little ones for this. Easier to work with because they're already small, but if you had some leftover big ones, and I just chop them up into small pieces.
Okay.
So these ones here are size 71-90, meaning that you get 71 to 90 in a pound.
Okay.
So that's how you identify them on the package.
Okay.
And so what we're going to do is we're just going to make a quick little marinade for these. We're going to add them into a bowl with some chopped green onions, and we'll add in some lime juice as well.
It's amazing how when you make a marinade, when you actually marinate your protein beforehand, it adds so much more flavor to a quesadilla or something to that nature.
Right.
It just takes a little extra time, but it makes a difference.
Shrimp on its own, yeah, like a little bit of salt and pepper and juice and some fresh herbs. I mean, you're right, it makes that much difference. So we'll put in some.
Now, how long would in the ideal situation, would you let that marinate for?
You know, for this type of thing, not very long.
No, okay.
I'm just seasoning the shrimp, right? Just getting some flavor on there. So if you wanted to do it ahead of time, you can do it, you know, a couple hours before or so, but it's not really necessary.
Okay.
We're just going to do it right away here.
I guess technically citrus would cook seafood, doesn't it? As
It
it's like a
does.
ceviche kind of way, so.
Yeah, if you
If you leave it for too long.
if you have a lot, yeah. Oh, okay. So we'll just mix that slightly, and some fresh herbs. So I'm going to add in some chopped parsley and a little bit of fresh mint too, just to give it a little bit of a different
we
flavor.
love, Chef Rachel loves working when you come into the kitchen at Terra, right? Because you can always have access to every herb known to
Yes.
man, right? Because we
Yes.
sell everything. So or peppers, because we sell some of the hottest peppers known to man. Those plants got cleared out this year. People were loving them. Some of that stuff is like, whew, intense.
Oops.
But it is definitely handy working in this kitchen when we have access to that.
Okay.
Okay.
So they create a little bit of a mess, but
That's okay.
I just
We're
roll up the mint, just a leaf or so. We don't want to put too much in. And that's basically the shrimp ready to go.
Okay.
Okay,
Great.
just clean this up a bit. Because we need it nice and clean for the
Oh, right. Yeah.
to prepare these, right? We want to lay them out. Okay. We'll start with two.
Well, two. Okay.
Start with two.
All right. Let's do it.
Okay. First, I'm gonna put a little bit of sauce on the bottom. Just I like to create a base when I'm making any kind of sandwich or
Okay.
in this case quesadilla, right? So we'll mix chipotle pepper. This is one of my favorite go-to. So some chopped chipotle peppers with the sauce into some mayonnaise. And we can also use this to dip the quesadilla later as well.
Yes, I was thinking that too. Actually, that's a great idea. It's amazing how mayo is just such a good base for anything. You just
Yeah.
mayo or sour cream. You know, you could just throw whatever.
You can
and
really
then
mix
you
it
create
with
a sauce.
whatever. Yeah. Yeah, so this is one of my go-tos. I use this for a lot of different things. Okay, and that creates some of the spice that we want as well.
Okay.
So we'll just spread that on half. So we'll put everything on one side and then we'll fold it over.
Okay, that's what I was always
Okay.
wondering. Even though I know you're folding, and I guess sometimes you can make them a big full round as well, right? And slice them.
Yes.
Like that
yes,
too,
of course.
unless
You can
you're
put
making
one on top
two.
of the other.
Yeah. So you only need to put on half. Okay. Well, that's gonna be good.
Oh,
I can
yeah.
smell it already. It smells fantastic.
It is really good. I could just eat this mayonnaise by itself.
Do you dip French fries in there,
Oh, yes.
Rachel? Knew it. Why wouldn't you? It's amazing. Okay.
Okay. Now we put the cheese. So I'm gonna do a couple layers of cheese because that's what's going to
Yeah.
help everything stick together, right?
Right.
So this is just a Monterey Jack cheese. I sliced it. Shredded would work just fine as well.
Okay, I was gonna ask you.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we'll put a couple slices on there like that.
Now you're going to be cooking these in the pan, right? But,
Yes.
But you could do these on the grill as well.
Yes.
You can get. I've seen recently quesadilla grills, so you can put and they press them, and then that way you can put them on the grill, and everything stays in. And you flip them.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Cool, because then everything kind of gets charred. I love that.
Yeah, the grill works great for it. Or I have a panini press at
Oh,
home,
yeah, or
so
that too.
sometimes
That's
I
actually
use
really
that.
handy. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so from here it's just about putting the rest of the ingredients in. So I have a little bit of red pepper that I sliced quite thin. And then of course our chunks of mango.
Yeah, I like the idea of the mango in there.
It really does create a nice flavor.
So again, obviously with something like this, again, you make it your own, you make it what you like, put in there whatever you like, and I guess the good part also as well is that, you know, if you don't like seafood, you can use chicken or steak or whatever.
Yeah, and any kind of sauce too.
Or you can make them vegetarian by adding more vegetables.
So our chopped jalapenos,
Wow, these are gonna have a little kick.
yeah, they are. I like the spice. But yes, of course you're gonna adjust the spice to your liking. And then we'll just add in the shrimp that's tossed with the lime juice. And pretty simple.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Actually, it's great.
Chop it off with a little bit more cheese.
Now these are already cooked shrimp,
Yes.
which you need to make sure you're using, right? Because they're not going to cook properly in
Right.
underneath there. Even though seafood cooks so quickly, you want to make sure.
Of course.
And more cheese, right? Very
And more
good.
cheese.
Okay.
And then we're just gonna fold this up and push it down. And then we're ready to
Put it in the pan.
put it in the pan. Yeah,
Okay, so
I'll
what we'll do
finish
is
that one.
we'll take a quick break. We'll come back and we'll get this all set and ready to go. Can't wait to try using this as a dipping sauce. Be right back.
Terra, where color lives.
You've sat under them and built forts in them. You've swung from them and fell out of them. You've even fallen in love under them. Trees have always held a special place in our hearts and memories. A natural beauty, trees will grow with you and your family and bring color and nature into your world. For your assurance of quality, look for trees and shrubs with the Medallion plant tag. Medallion plants, locally grown, the pride of Niagara.
Welcome back to Terra at Home. We have someone that's snuck in our kitchen here, and as we alluded to earlier on in the show, Chef Rachel is leaving us after being here from the very dawn of the show, and we have Chef Iain Kirkpatrick in our kitchen, and so we thought we'd put you all together for like one moment in time. Maybe you can come back as a guest sometime too. Rach.
Sure,
That'd be
I'd
cool.
love to.
That'd be super fun.
I'd love to.
So you were moving on to some, we won't say greener pastures because it's really green here because it's Terra,
It
but.
is.
But you are moving on, and
Yes.
we will miss you dearly. So as you finish up your last quesadilla, your
Thank
last
you.
roll here,
Oh.
and you're here. You're in the kitchen. How do you feel?
Yes.
Good.
It's great to be here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
You're
so it's
very
interesting.
welcome.
So we were talking earlier, Rachel, when I was talking to Iain earlier in the show. In his kitchen, and now he's in our kitchen, and some of the sort of the different styles chefs all have out there in the world. So it's going to be really neat to see what Iain will bring us, and all the fun memories of what you've brought us over the years.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Very exciting time. Looking forward to it.
Okay, so we've been making quesadillas here, shrimp quesadillas, and I know you want to try one, Iain. So you want to,
Absolutely.
yeah, these are looking pretty good. So let's just finish off this recipe.
Yeah, so after they're all folded and ready to go in the pan, I just put a little bit of oil, get it really, really high, so you want it to create a nice color. Yeah, and then basically it doesn't take very long.
Yeah,
30 seconds to a minute.
It feels like you're like smoking them and like burning out the kitchen, but this
Yeah.
is to get that nice crisp and color as you mentioned,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Yeah, so
that's
not
key.
too long for each side, and then carefully flip it over. This one's going to be a little light.
You even did a good job though with it, because like you managed to not really lose much out of it at all.
Yeah,
of
you
course,
have to be careful, 'cause-
all of Chef Rachel's recipe can be found on our website, and eventually we'll be saying all of Chef Ian's recipes can be found on our website, terragreenhouses.com. And I got a perfect recipe for the summer, and we'll be back in the kitchen later on down the road with Chef Iain. Rachel, we're gonna miss you
Thank
so
you.
much.
I'll miss you guys too. Thanks for
Oh,
everything. for the
Yeah,
last
thank you for
couple of
everything.
years.
You've been a pleasure to work with.
Thank you.
And I've learned so much. I've made a lot of your recipes. Oh, I have a tear to cry. That's it for now. Thanks, Chef Rachel.
Thank you.
We'll have more Terra at Home. Have yourself a great weekend.